So women, be certain about this man before you lead him to the point of falling in love with you. But he doesn't realize if he really, really likes you that much to be in a very committed relationship. At this stage, the sexual tension for him is building up. So that's why you see most guys will want to get into a relationship with a woman solely for the purpose of wanting to get her laid. Now, it is what the woman does that reverses that action. In today's episode, I will tell you the secret of how men fall in love and how you could use it to your advantage. Now, according to the media, women fall in love more quickly, more intensely, more deeply, and often quicker than men. But if you look into how a guy falls in love, you might be so surprised how similar it resembles the way you fall in love as a woman. So falling in love involves the same brain chemicals, in both sexes, but the timeline tends to differ. And you might also be surprised at how quickly a man can fall in love. It may only take a matter of weeks. So knowing how and why a guy falls in love can help you snatch the man of your dream, or potentially let a guy down easily if you're not interested. So keep an eye out for the signs, especially if you're not interested. All right, number one, you must know that it all starts with attraction. Maybe it's your eyes, maybe it's your daring curves, maybe the way you speak, your composure, or your flowing hair, your fashion sense, your intelligence, whatever it is. This is the first stage that you must understand to know how guys fall in love. The way a woman holds herself can be as attractive to a man as the shape of her body. And of course, we all know that men are visual beings. So dressing dressing sexy is also an important factor to key in when we talk about attraction. It will also interest you to keep this in mind, that physical and sexual attraction have their roots in basic reproduction. And without this drive, our species would die out, because it is the type of attraction that encourages human beings to seek their mates. Physical attraction is instant, and while it always doesn't go farther than that, it is a must when it comes to falling in love. After all, who wants to be with someone they are not attracted to? Nobody wants to be with anyone that they are not attracted to. So after attraction comes the stage where a man tries to get a woman's attention by the action that he takes to luring her into his nest. So next comes flaunting. Now, from what we know about how a guy falls in love, we could paint a picture of the next step. He's caught a woman's attention, she's reciprocated, so he will try to get her to like him. And this may include, the typical alpha male boasting about the things that he has accomplished, even mentioning about how other ladies like him so as to show that he is more desirable. Now, when it comes to his action towards her, he will expend time and money on that woman. He will also become of use around this woman's house, or try to help her solve problems so that he will become more likable. Now, at this stage, women, you need to realize that his heart may hurt if he gets rejected. But then again, falling in love in this stage is still far out on the horizon. So the man is focusing on getting a woman to like him and not how much he likes her. You need to remember, he's getting you to like him more, but he doesn't realize if he really, really likes you that much to be in a very committed relationship. At this stage, the sexual tension for him is building up. So that's why you see most guys will want to get into a relationship with a woman solely for the purpose of wanting to get her laid. Now, it is what the woman does that reverses that action. So at this stage, it's the ego thing, the chase thing. And a man and a woman will usually do a lot of flirting during this stage. A man will begin to wonder whether this flirtation will lead anywhere. And as a result, it may lead to a little bit of anxiety, especially if he's trying to impress a woman who is his friend, who may not even respond clearly. So this is why playing hard to get isn't the right tactic with all men if you are a woman who wants to be with this man. Until a man is sure about a woman's feeling, he may fairly be insecure. All right? So women, I would advise that you always read the room. Now, another way that a man falls in love with a woman is when he takes the time for introspection. While this may seem hard to believe, a man may not have really considered whether he likes a girl throughout the previous stages that I have just mentioned, right? he may have been so focused on making her fall for him that he hasn't really considered how he feels towards this woman, or how men fall in love. However, if there's a potential to fall in love there, he will take out time to analyze if he really wants to be with this woman for the long haul or not. So his decision at this point of introspection will only be determined by the increase in his action or decrease in his action moving forward. And that's why you see at some point in time, some guys just pull away and just go silent. In that period, he's actually having an introspective view on his relationship with you, if you are the kind of woman that he would like to spend the rest of his life with or not. And whatever he decides at the end of the day, whether he comes back or not come back, he's made a decision in that period of time. And what you should do in that period is not to freak out. Go on and live your life. Don't chase. Go on and live your life, your best life. And you're not waiting for him to come. You're having your best life and living your baby girl life. Now, finally, let's assume attraction, security, and romance are all in place. It's time for the final step in how a guy falls in love. At this point, you will notice that he lets his guard down and he allows his feelings to foster. Ideally, the relationship blossoms, right? So during this time, the brain's chemistry will function quite similarly to drug addiction. And this domain creates dopamine, which makes a man feel hyper-energized. He may not be able or want to sleep because he's thinking about you and he's building a world where it's just you and him alone. So if it's a healthy relationship, that feeling of attraction and romance will eventually stabilize, and then long-term attachment starts to settle in. And eventually he might even ask himself whether he's with someone he wants to marry or not. Now, this is where the woman needs to be certain that she, on the other hand, isn't giving mixed feelings or mixed signals to this guy, because things may not be so peachy if you start to send conflicting signal, or you seem to be going back on your feelings. Because what this would do is that it will result to him going cold and being distant, because he's trying to protect himself after having invested so much energy in one woman, which is you. And peradventure, if that's the case, and this man's brain is already addicted to this woman and she's not matching energy, his own feelings will mirror withdrawal, and he may become really anxious, so much so that he focuses on his next fix, which typically comes in form of communicating with another woman. So like an actual addiction, he will have to wait it out as the chemical in his brain subside. So he will start to find out that ditching messages, photos, or even cutting contact, in addition to getting plenty of sunshine and exercises, can just help alter his brain chemistry to make this process of healing a lot easier for him. So women, be certain about this man before you lead him to the point of falling in love with you. Now, can you make a man fall in love with you? Of course, there are certainly things that you could do to encourage a man to fall in love with you, especially if you understand how men fall in love. And then you could also make a man fall in love with you who wants to fall in love with you, okay? You can't force anyone. But listen, we're not talking about using cheap psychology methods to manipulate him, but you could take steps to move things along. And you could start by doing new and exciting things together, because novelty and, you know, associated hormones, including dopamine and adrenaline, help foster feelings of togetherness. And, you know, a satisfying sex life creates dopamine too, so you could take advantage of that. Now, we've got a lot of clips where we talk about great sex in this channel, but the truth is you will need to provide more than that if you want his feelings to last. Sex is not everything. In fact, a combination of attraction, sex, flirting, chemicals, and other few factors always play into feelings of love, which is why it can be so difficult to manufacture the process of falling in love and feelings in someone. And again, you also have to take this to account that all of the steps that I have told you may not always fall in the same order that I have placed them, especially if your relationship doesn't rely on, you know, the traditional dating mechanism. And finally, Not all men are exactly the same. This is why it's so important to pay attention to the man that you're particularly with, to gauge his reaction and respond appropriately, either to encourage the feelings of love or to discourage him from falling in love with you, okay? I hope this video makes a lot of sense to you and it helps you figure out if the man that you're with really likes you and he's falling in love with you. If not, so I'll see you when I see you. Do have a great time. I love you.